I'm the telescope that Galileo Galilei pointed at the forbidden sky, astronomer and physicist. In a modest workshop in Padua, autumn of 1609, my form took shape under the careful hands of master craftsmen. The smell of pine shavings mixed with melted brass filled the air as they assembled my simple body. No ornate decoration, no gilded edges, just honest wood and polished glass. I was born from necessity, not luxury, crafted for function rather than beauty. Galileo Galilei first lifted me into existence on a crisp October morning. His weathered fingers, stained with ink from countless calculations, traced my rough wooden surface, as if sensing the destiny that would soon unite us. Through the workshop window, Venice's campaniles pierced the horizon like prayers reaching toward heaven, a heaven I would soon help redefine. The master lens grinder had worked for weeks perfecting my vision, grinding and polishing crystal with infinite patience. Each day brought subtle adjustments, tiny improvements that would mean the difference between mere curiosity and revolutionary discovery. The convex and concave glasses, when properly aligned within my hollow body, transformed the distant into the intimate, the impossible into the visible. Those first tests thrilled Galileo beyond measure. He pointed me toward ships entering the Venetian lagoon, watching their distant sails grow clear and detailed through my lenses. Merchants on the Rialto Bridge appeared close enough to touch, their faces sharp with commercial intensity. The power I possessed to compress space itself both amazed and unsettled those who witnessed it. But I sensed something deeper in Galileo's excitement. As winter approached and 1609 prepared to become 1610, his gaze turned increasingly skyward. While others saw a useful tool for earthly observations, he envisioned something far grander. In quiet moments, I felt his hands tremble with anticipation as he cleaned my lenses, preparing for explorations that would challenge the very foundations of human knowledge. The university halls of Padua buzzed with rumors of my existence. Professors debated in hushed Latin whether such instruments aligned with God's will. Some whispered that tools revealing hidden truths might be dangerous, that perhaps certain knowledge was meant to remain beyond mortal reach. Yet Galileo pressed forward, driven by an insatiable hunger to understand the cosmos. As the year's end approached, I began to understand my true purpose. Each night, as Galileo carried me to his makeshift observatory, I felt the weight of impending revolution. The stars called to us through the cold winter air, and I knew that the moment was approaching when human understanding would be forever transformed. The old world of crystal spheres and perfect circles, of earth-centered creation and unchanging heavens had no idea what was coming. Neither did I, really. All I knew was that together, Galileo and I were about to reveal truths that would shake the pillars of heaven itself. January 7th, 1610. The date burns in my memory like cosmic fire, seared into my consciousness with the intensity of the moment it represents. Snow covered Padua's terracotta rooftops like a clean parchment awaiting history's pen. Galileo carried me up the narrow stairs to his observatory, a cramped room beneath the university's highest tower, where we would author humanity's first page in the book of true astronomy. The winter air bit sharply as he set me upon the wooden tripod, aligning my length with Jupiter, that wandering star that moved mysteriously among its celestial companions. His breath formed ghostly clouds as he adjusted my focus, unaware that we stood at the threshold of the greatest discovery in human history. Then it happened. The moment my lenses achieved perfect clarity, the universe split open like a geode, revealing its crystal heart. "Madonna mia," Galileo whispered, his voice trembling with disbelief. Through my glass soul, he witnessed what no human eye had ever seen. 3 tiny points of light flanking Jupiter, arranged like pearls on an invisible celestial necklace. The accepted wisdom of 2 millennia, that all heavenly bodies circled. Our Earth, in perfect, unchanging orbits, crumbled in that instant like ancient parchment touched by flame. I felt his hands shake as he sketched furiously by candlelight, documenting the impossible. The three mysterious companions held steady positions relative to Jupiter, clearly belonging to that distant world rather than wandering independently among the stars. Here was proof beyond argument that not everything in the heavens revolved around our small Earth. Night after night throughout January, we returned to that cold rooftop. I showed Galileo how those celestial dancers changed their positions, sometimes three visible, sometimes four as a hidden fourth emerged from behind. Jupiter's bulk. They orbited their parent world just as the moon orbited Earth, creating a miniature solar system that mirrored Copernicus's revolutionary theory. The implications crashed over us like Mediterranean storm waves. If Jupiter commanded its own satellites, if worlds beyond Earth could serve as centers of motion, what did this mean for humanity's place in creation? The comfortable, contained universe of medieval thinking suddenly seemed impossibly small, inadequate to contain the grandeur we were witnessing. I remember the exact moment when understanding dawned in Galileo's eyes. It was January 15th, as he watched the moon's positions shift once again. They move, he breathed, and in those simple words lay the death of the old cosmos and the birth of the new. The Earth-centered universe of Ptolemy and Aristotle could not survive this evidence. The moving Earth of Copernicus suddenly seemed not just mathematically elegant, but physically real. Through my lenses, we had glimpsed the true architecture of God's creation, far vaster and more wonderful than any earthly mind had dared imagine. And with that glimpse came the terrifying knowledge that we could never again pretend the universe was made for us alone. Word of our discoveries spread through Europe like wildfire through autumn wheat. By March 1610, Galileo had published Sidereus Nuncius, the Starry Messenger, a slim volume that would forever alter humanity's understanding of its place in creation. My simple observations became the foundation for a new cosmology. My crude lenses the instruments of an intellectual revolution, but with revelation came persecution. I witnessed the fear that flickered across visitors' faces when they peered through my tube and saw Jupiter's moons for themselves. Some learned men flatly refused to look, claiming that if God had intended humans to see such things, he would have endowed them with naturally powerful vision. Father Clavius, the Pope's mathematician, examined me skeptically, searching for trickery that might explain away the troubling truths I revealed. As autumn arrived, I showed Galileo even more disturbing wonders. Venus, that bright evening star, displayed phases like our moon, proof that it orbited the sun, not Earth. Through my lenses, Saturn appeared oddly shaped. We now know these were its rings, though my crude optics couldn't resolve them properly. The Milky Way revealed itself not as celestial cloud, but as countless stars, too distant for naked eyes to distinguish. Most shocking was our examination of the moon itself, that perfect sphere of Aristotelian philosophy. That symbol of divine perfection and unchanging beauty revealed itself as a rough, damaged world. Mountains cast shadows across lunar valleys. Craters pocked its surface like old battle scars. The moon was not some ethereal perfection, but a world of rock and stone, much like our own Earth. If even the heavens bore imperfections, what did this say about the supposed separation between the earthly and divine realms? Each discovery was another crack in the crystalline sphere of established truth. The Roman Inquisition watched with growing alarm as our observations contradicted Scripture's apparent message that Earth occupied the center of creation. Letters flew between Rome and Padua, carrying warnings couched in careful language, reminders that natural philosophy must conform to revealed truth. I felt the tension building like pressure in a sealed vessel. Great minds visited our observatory, some seeking wisdom, others gathering evidence for accusations of heresy. Cardinal Bellarmine himself wrote thoughtfully on the matter, suggesting that such discoveries might be mathematical conveniences rather than physical realities. But we had seen too much, witnessed too clearly. The moons of Jupiter were not mathematical abstractions, they were worlds, complete with their own complex motions and mysterious purposes. By 1611, as Galileo departed Padua for his new position, in Florence, I sensed that our brief period of wonder-working was ending. The forces of orthodoxy were consolidating, preparing their response to our challenge. They would demand explanations that preserved the central earth, interpretations that reconciled observation with doctrine. But some truths once seen cannot be unseen, and some revolutions once begun cannot be stopped. As we packed for Florence, I wondered what trials awaited us in the coming years. Little did I know that our greatest discoveries lay behind us, but our greatest test was still to come. The years that followed were a slow descent from triumph to tragedy, yet also a testament to truth's inexorable power. Florence welcomed us with fanfare. The Grand Duke himself wished to peer through my lenses at Jupiter's moons. Galileo named them the Medicean stars in honor of his patron, though history would remember them by other names. Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. But even as courts celebrated our discoveries, shadows lengthened. The Congregation of the Index condemned Copernican theory in 1616, and I watched Galileo receive his first warning from Cardinal Bellarmine. He must not hold, defend, or teach that the sun was the center of the world, or that the earth moved. Yet how could he deny what we had seen together on those cold Paduan nights? For years, Galileo walked a careful line, studying sunspots and tides, continuing his work while avoiding direct confrontation with church doctrine. I aged in his service, my wooden frame weathering with time, my lenses accumulating the patina of countless observations. Together, we mapped the moon's features, tracked the phases of Venus, and documented Saturn's mysterious appendages. Then came 1632, and Galileo's great mistake, or perhaps his greatest act of courage. Against papal warnings, he published his Dialogue Concerning the Two Chief World Systems, a not-so-subtle defense of Copernican astronomy. Though written in Italian rather than scholarly Latin, making it accessible to all educated readers, the book's implications couldn't be disguised. Pope Urban VIII, feeling personally betrayed by a man he'd considered a friend, ordered Galileo brought before the Inquisition. The trial of 1633 broke my heart. I watched this giant of learning, now 70 and partly blind, forced to kneel before his inquisitors and deny the truths we'd discovered together. Yet even as he recanted, even as he spoke the required words declaring Earth motionless at the center of creation, I sensed his inner fire remained unquenched. Legend claims he muttered afterward, "Eppur si muove," and yet it moves. Though I cannot verify those defiant words, house arrest in Arcetri became our prison and refuge. Despite his blindness, Galileo continued working, dictating notes and theoretical treatises. He would sometimes hold me, his now trembling hands remembering the weight of our shared discoveries. Visitors came seeking wisdom, among them John Milton, who would later describe Galileo in Paradise Lost as the man who gazed through optic glass at the moon's spotted surface. When Galileo died in 1642, I felt a profound emptiness. The hands that had first pointed me toward Jupiter's moons would never again adjust my focus, never again share in the thrill of revelation. Yet even in grief, I recognized that our collaboration had achieved something permanent and transformative. Centuries have passed since that revelatory night in 1610. Other telescopes, incomparable in power to my simple construction, have revealed galaxies beyond counting, planets orbiting distant stars, and cosmic wonders that dwarf even Jupiter's moons. The Hubble Space Telescope sees farther into the universe than I could have imagined possible. Radio telescopes listen to the cosmos's whispers. Gravitational wave detectors sense ripples in space-time itself. Yet I remain proud of my humble role in humanity's awakening. The persecution Galileo faced seems almost quaint now as space missions visit the very moons we first saw as points of light. Children learn in school about the solar system we helped reveal, about the moving Earth we dared to observe. Today, preserved in a place of honor, I continue my vigil. Visitors pause before my case, perhaps wondering what it felt like to shatter the crystal spheres of ancient cosmology, to reveal that the universe extends far beyond human imagination. Some even smile, recognizing that the revolution we began continues still. In every probe sent to Jupiter's moons, in every discovery that expands the boundaries of knowledge, in every question that challenges accepted wisdom. In the end, I learned that truth possesses its own gravity, drawing everything toward itself with inexorable force. The forbidden sky became humanity's infinite library, and I was honored to help open its first page. Though I am now silent, my legacy resonates in every telescope that seeks understanding among the stars, in every mind that dares to question the limits of the knowable. The universe is vast beyond measure, mysterious beyond comprehension, and magnificent beyond expression. We are indeed not alone, not because of alien visitors, but because we are connected to every star, every planet, every cosmic dance that plays out across the infinite dark. And sometimes, just sometimes, the humblest instruments wielded by the bravest hearts can reveal the most profound truths. Through my lenses, humanity first glimpsed its true home. Not a small, stationary Earth at the center of a cozy universe, but a living world circling an ordinary star in an immense cosmos filled with wonders beyond counting. That realization changed everything, not just astronomy, but our fundamental understanding of what it means to be human in an infinite universe. And still, the stars call to us, inviting new discoveries, new perspectives, new ways of seeing ourselves. Among the cosmic vastness, the revolution continues, one observation at a time, one question at a time, one brave soul at a time, willing to look where others fear to see.